What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to jump on the E46 and we're going to do a full wheel refurbishment. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there spending like $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 on new steering wheels, and I want to show you guys how to come up with something beautiful for about 200 bucks. It's going to be leather, it's going to be carbon, it's going to be beautiful. So let's jump in and I'll show you what I need to do so that we can actually get the job done and the finished product. Let's jump in. All right, so current steering wheel, painted this, looks a little gross. This is synthetic, it's not actually leather. We need to fix it. We need to make it look a bit nicer, but I do like the stock wheel. It's a nice wheel, everything works. All the buttons are nice, blah, blah, blah. So what we have to do is disconnect the battery. In the back here, there are two little openings. You can put a flat blade screwdriver in. It's like a bar, it pushes sideways on both sides and it releases the airbag. Disconnect the airbag. I think it's like a 14 or a 17 or something. One nut, couple plugs, undo it, pull it out. So there's gonna be some plugs for these, switches, the plugs for the airbag, and then you just pull the whole steering wheel out, and then we'll take it inside, start pulling it apart. All right, so as you can see, the screwdriver goes in the hole in the back, and there's like a pin here. You just push it that way and it releases, and then you'll do it on the other side. Don't try and like release this one then just yank it out, because I don't think that works. It always feels like it's like not playing the game. So do the other one as well, and you, like this one you'll move in say this far, this one you'll only have to like give it a little bit and it pops out. So I need two hands for that, give me a sec. All right, and I apologize for the light, but you've got two plugs on the back of there, and it looks like you got the two plugs just back there. And just a quick FYI, that's the plug plugged in, that's a plug unplugged. So you see that little bit that has obviously been lifted up, the yellow, you pull that up and that releases the actual clip, and then you can pull it out just directly away from the back of the hole. You have to undo that Torx bit and that Torx bit to take the top off, and you can unplug from the back. I just remembered. All right, so we got the old stitching. I've taken the middle covers off because I'm gonna have a little bit of something special with that. But as you can see down here, you see the dark blue thread in between the light blue and the red? That's what I've already cut there, and I've got to feed out of all of that. Pull that off, and then you essentially just start with the knot in the corner and then loop it exactly like that. All the way through. Try and get you a bit of better light. There you go, all the way around, pull it tight. When you get to this end, you start at that end again and pull it tight and tight, 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 all the way through. And then you start again. Just like on your boots, you're starting down there to pull them tight all the way up here. If you need to go again, you start at the bottom again. So that's essentially what you do with this, but you do it like 3 times on a synthetic one, and on a leather one, each section you probably do 50 times, because you pull that little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Feels like you're not pulling anything, but it does, and it works. Okay, I wanted to show you guys on the crown steering wheel, just because it's a little bit easier to see. Now, I'm gonna have to rip my old stitching off. I'll show you that in a sec. But before you stitch the new one on, what you do is you actually put the steering wheel cover on here, right? So it'll be like flappy at the front, flappy at the back, but it would be tight all the way around the middle. You line it up nicely so that, you know, for example, like the sections that go over here are lined up, and here, and so on and so forth. And you can push them down, make sure they're gonna line up nicely, right? Once you have done that, you actually get double-sided tape with the kit. And what you do is you go along all here and put double-sided tape all the way around up here on the back. You will be able to, because you've got the steering wheel out, but yeah, around the back. You won't be able to get it up here, obviously, because that actual cover will be sitting there. And you don't want to do it in the middle here, because it stops the two ends. If you can imagine, they pull together as you stitch them. But if you've got sticky tape here, like there, you know, where it is there, it's gonna stuff up that little seam that pulls together. So just on the back, peel off all the little, like, you know, covers, and then that's when you kind of can push it down. Don't worry, it's not gonna stick perfectly. It's more to stop it like swiveling when you're driving. So once you've actually tightened up all these stitches and everything, that's going to be pushed against something that's going to keep it still there. And to be honest, it really does. You don't see it through the actual wrap. I've had it on the Supra for like 2 years now. Don't ever see it through the wrap, but it does stop it twisting and kind of coming out of line, because you want the lines to be really nice in that center piece.
And there we have it, boys, all done, all stitched up. Sorry about like the lighting, it's not the best. I'll put some pictures up on Instagram in like daylight and stuff when I can actually move the car. I've got the batteries connected still, so bear with me. Now, you got to be aware with all this stitching, it takes literally hours. I think this steering wheel probably all up took me 4 hours because I had to file in here and make sure that was like, you know, matched up perfectly, because they butt up to each other like literally like perfect the whole way across. So you got to be aware that's going to take you some time. Those panels are like 130 bucks together shipped, so you don't expect them to be perfect, but you can make them perfect. And the stitching, like hours and hours and hours. My fingers hurt so much. So look, buying steering wheels, they're worth what they're charging, you know, like maybe not $2,000 because that's crazy, but they'd probably come out a lot better than this one. But for 200 bucks and 4 hours of playing around, oh, that's come up so good. I am wrapped with that. And you can tell that this is a proper leather wrap because they're really tight. So if you got to put it on and it's loose, and you just kind of do one loop, tighten it up like your shoes, and then that's kind of it, that you can kind of tell that that's a synthetic one, because the leather ones don't do that. The leather ones, they take, I don't know, probably like 5 or 6 passes on the shorter ones and maybe 10 on the longer ones to tighten all the way up, tighten again, and you'll get to points that like these bits here, the actual connections, are a little bit like more open. So you'll come through, you'll kind of tighten a little bit, tighten a lot, and then kind of just feed the slack all the way around so that you can get that perfect touch all the way through. Oh, I'm so stoked. So the Supra one came out amazing, and that's kind of the like level of quality that I've set for myself. So this has reached that quality as well. And then obviously the carbon fiber, that little extra beauty touch on top. Wrapped, guys, for under $200. Oh, I think it was 190 Australian dollars, everything shipped. Stoked. All right, so that is all done. That steering wheel came out so good. I'm so stoked. Now, the reason I didn't want to go to like one of the really expensive wheels, one, it's really good content to show you guys what you can make out of only a couple $100 or less than. But also I only paid like $2,000 for the car because I really just wanted the chassis, engine, gearbox, suspension, brakes, all that sort of stuff. I'm changing it all out anyways. And I knew that before I bought the car. So if you've got like one of my mates, he's got a Golf R, and he was looking at getting one of the $2,000 wheels. Well, he paid like $45,000 for the car. So, you know, it's like 5% of the car for a wheel. I can justify that. But when it's 100% of the cost of the car, that's a lot. So I wanted to show you guys that you can do it. You can do it yourselves. A lot of labor time. So for the guys that actually do steering wheels out there, like mad respect for you. My fingers are so sore doing this. I'm sure you've got like proper tools and things like that, which helps obviously. But little tips for you guys if you're going to do it. The cross section, the tape that I was telling you about, you put it across like the back side of the steering wheel. Don't put it on the back of the cross sections, because those have like the fabric comes in and then it kind of stretches like that, like up to the top and then underneath that kind of T section. So you don't want to stick it there because it needs to kind of slide up and down as the threads pull it in. Secondly, where you go from like, so for example, mine is perforated on the sides and then non-perforated leather top and bottom. Where they join, what I did is I actually looped a little piece of metal through, or like string or whatever you want, through the join, and then count your loops of threads back to where you're going to start, so that you make sure that you've got the even amount either side. Because if you go like 30 loops in and then you realize the backside is 32 loops in and that line doesn't line up, it's going to bug you. So make sure you do that. Pretty much once you do like the left side, like for example the top, once you do the left side, the right side is going to match up because they are good at making the product. It's like a $62 product. So if you don't want to do the carbon bits, it's only like $62, $63. It's really cheap, and that's for proper leather. The other one that I got was definitely synthetic because it just doesn't sit the same. But yeah, they're kind of the main two pointers, and just be patient. It is going to take a long time. You know, at some points you're going to be tightening it all the way up, like, you know, the way you tighten your shoes up from the bottom to the top. And you'll get like 30 threads in and you'll lose it.
and it'll like snap back in, and it'll be really frustrating, but just stick with it. It's worth the end result. It feels way better now as well. It's a lot thicker steering wheel, which I don't know. I actually prefer that feel. It feels a lot kind of newer, a bit more quality. Thin steering wheels don't really feel that great, in my opinion. You might love them, but whatever, like your car. So, you know, run with whatever you want to run with. I think the thicker ones feel a lot better. So yeah, it does that as well, which is great. But guys, I don't want to rattle on too much. Just want to give you some pointers if you are going to do this yourself. So I hope this helped. I hope you enjoyed it. I didn't do like, you know, the time lapses of like me threading it all, because you guys would have got bored. Like, I got bored doing it, so you guys would get bored watching it. But you can definitely do it yourselves. You can definitely save yourself some money. If you liked, please subscribe, jump in the comments, let me know if you've done it, let me know if you want to do it, things like that. I was gonna put a link in the description, but it's literally just, you just jump on eBay and search your car. Any car, pretty much they do a cut out version of it. Like, maybe not brand new cars, but most cars. So guys, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See you guys.